All right, let's get through it. Let's get through it. What's up, young Mac? What's up, young Mac? I had to get on here and do this late night live. Who we got in the building? We got young Mac, Adam, Nikki, DJ Polo. What I'm about to do is I'm going to give you a synopsis of everything that Megan Thee Stallion said during direct examination. I'm going to do a different video for her cross-examination when the defense attorney questioned her. But I'm going to give you guys a synopsis of everything that was said during direct examination when the prosecutor asked Megan some questions. Sorry I'm getting on so late, but I was tied up. So we're only going to talk about the direct examination, and then I might do another video in about an hour after this one with the cross-examination. The cross-examination was probably more interesting because that's when the defense attorney had his opportunity to ask questions. But let's go through the cross-examination, and then I'll take a few questions, and then we'll just wrap it up. But court was supposed to start at 10:30 this morning, and I got there about 10:35, thinking I was late, and we didn't start testimony until 11:18 a.m. Now, keep in mind, lunch is at noon, so they're starting testimony at 11:18, and when I got there at 10:35, Megan was already in the courthouse. One of the deputies in the lobby told me that she was already present. So when I heard that, I thought, man, maybe I'm 5 minutes late. Maybe I missed the first 5 minutes. But nah, they were running behind schedule. Now, the reason why they're running behind schedule is because they are making such a big deal about cell phones. Put your cell phones away. Turn your cell phones off. And give me a thumbs up if you can hear my audio. I think I got this cranked all the way up. Can you hear my audio? Because we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this direct examination by the prosecutor. All right. Now, remember, she's a prosecution witness, so the prosecutor is going to be more friendly and more easygoing with Megan during the testimony. Great. So everybody could hear me. Okay. So they were making a big deal about cell phones. And usually if we're on the 9th floor of the courtroom, they'll put your cell phone in a yonder bag, which is locked. And then you can keep your phone with you, but it's locked. You can't do anything with it. In order to lock it, you got to come out to the machine that has a magnet that opens up the bag. We're not on the 9th floor. The 9th floor is for murders, special circ cases, all homicides, like serious felonies. So Tory Lanez's trial is on the 15th floor, so they don't have that double security to check your phones and to put your phones in the yonder bag. So it takes about 10-15 minutes for the deputies to check your phones before you go on, because they want to make sure you turn your phone off. They don't want any pictures of the jurors. They don't want any pictures of Megan. They don't even want you pulling out your phones in the hallway. Well, you can pull your phone out in the hallway, but you absolutely cannot take any photos in the hallway because jurors could just be standing around. So they definitely are really strict with the phones, more so today than yesterday, because of course Megan was testifying, and I guess they wanted to protect her. They wanted to protect the jurors. So that took, I want to say it's probably added another 15-20 minutes to the whole process, because they're also checking all of Tory Lanez's his entourage. He's got about 10-11 people. They got to turn their phones off. Then they have a bunch of people from the DA's office that sit in the courtroom. They got to turn their phones off. Then, of course, the media, which was um, 15 deep. I think I counted 15. I got to check my notes on that. About 15 deep today. Got to turn all your phones off. So everybody had to turn their phones off. We didn't get started until 11:18 a.m. So you guys ready to hear what she said? I'm gonna give you pretty much everything that she said from 11:18 up till the lunch break, and then they came back at 1:30, continued the direct examination. All right. So the very first question from prosecutor, this time yesterday the prosecutor that did all the work was Alexander Bott. Today was Kathy Ta. So there's two prosecutors. You know, they're double teaming. They're double teaming Tory Lanez over there with two prosecutors. It's not unusual. There's I've seen many cases where there's two prosecutors. So today was the other prosecutor. And of course, it made sense. She's a female. You got Megan up there, female, to kind of relate to her. And first question she asked her was, "Do you know Daystar Peterson? Do you know Daystar Peterson?" And that question, the very first question, she started to get emotional. You could hear her voice started to crack as if she wanted to cry. And her answer was yes. "Do you see him in court today?" "Yes." "What is he wearing?" "He's wearing a white shirt with a tan jacket." Actually, bro came in with a nice tan suit. Yesterday, he had a light green suit, fitted, tailored. Today was a tan suit with a white turtleneck, some nice loafers, and I believe he wore socks today. Yesterday, he didn't wear socks, and I said, bro should be wearing socks with that suit and those loafers. I believe he wore socks today. So what is he wearing? And she said a white shirt and tan jacket. It was actually a blazer. How do you know him? Oh no, I'm sorry. "Do you know him by another name?" "Tory Lanez." "How long did you know him before this July 2020 incident?" She said, "Not that long. I'm sure I met him earlier that year." So if this incident happened in July, we just basically learned they've known each other for a maximum time of 7 months, if she's accurate. Now, keep in mind, there are so many questions that Megan doesn't answer. There are so many questions that she doesn't recall, that she doesn't know. And sometimes she's being sincere, and other times she's trying to avoid the question. So take that with a grain of salt. She said that I'm sure I met him that year. Okay. And she said we got closer. We started hanging out with him, started drinking together. You know what that means. Once you guys start hanging out and drinking together, what does that usually mean? All right, let me remove one of these spammers. I only remove these spammers that are putting links to pornography. Yes, sir. Machiavelli Don Z. We started hanging out together. We got closer. We were drinking together. Okay. The prosecutor then asked, "Did you guys bond?" And she said, "Yes. My mom had died. He filled a void, and I felt I could trust him." And then, "Were you intimate with him?" Now, remember what the answer was on Gayle King. Gayle King asked the same exact question. "Were you intimate with Tory Lanez?" She told Gayle King no, but she told the prosecutor today, yes. She asked her, "Were you exclusive with him?" And she said no. So I don't know if she was trying to downplay how important he felt he was to her, but she said no, was not exclusive. Oh, the reason why is because we later find out she had a partner, boyfriend, someone else she was dealing with at the time. The prosecutor then asked, "Do you know Kelsey Harris?" Now, of course, Kelsey Harris is her best friend. "Yes, I know Kelsey. She was my best friend. I have known her since freshman year in college, 2013 or 2014." So this incident happened in 2020. So they've known each other for up to 6 or 7 years when this incident had happened. uh, let me look at some of these comments real quick, and I'll continue. Let me because sometimes these comments are inspirational and very funny. Wow, that's a lie. The bitch is she a liar and a black baby killer. Now let me throw this in here. I'm going to talk about this when I do the video on her cross examination, but there's no doubt in my mind this woman was shot. She was definitely shot. There's no doubt. The question is who shot her. So I know early on, I believe I even said this on the podcast, Streets and Scholars with FG, looking at the photo of an injury. I'm not really sure if that looks like a gunshot injury. Maybe she did step on glass. But there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt, this woman was shot and the doctor pulled out bullet fragments from her foot. The defense is not even challenging that. The defense is not challenging that at all. When the defense doesn't challenge a position that the prosecution's asserting, it's most likely true. We haven't heard from the doctor, but in opening statements, prosecutor Alexander Bott said we will have a doctor that's going to testify about bullet fragments that he or she pulled out of Megan's foot. So she was definitely shot. So let's just get that out there. I'm gonna check a few more of these. No, the doctor hasn't taken the stand yet, but in opening, we heard that the doctor will take the stand. So we'll see. Let me check out a couple of these comments, and then I'll continue with the rest of Megan's testimony. Let me block this user who's posting porn. Okay. Someone aired them size 14s out. Hey, when you're airing something out, the bullets are supposed to go right into the torso or into the head, not into your foot. If you shoot someone in your foot, you didn't air them out. So did Tory pop her, or was she hit by a ricochet of a bullet? It's either Tory shot her, or someone else shot her, or whoever shot her. She may have been hit with a ricochet of a bullet that hit off the ground, because we learned in opening statements. Now we got to wait for the doctor, but apparently 3 different fragments were pulled out of her foot. So not a complete slug. Complete slug wasn't pulled out of her foot. Fragments were. So that means it most likely hit something else first, then went into her foot. So, all right. I'll get back to the comments in a minute. So the last question was, do you know Kelsey Harris? She said, yes, that's my best friend. I've known her since freshman year in college, either 2013 or 2014. Now, I went to college. I was a freshman in 1992, and I graduated in 1995. I thought it was a little unusual that she didn't remember what year she was a freshman. Now, you're a freshman 2 semesters, which goes into 2 years. It goes from 1 year to the next year. But you would think you would know what year you met your best friend. But she says she met her best friend in the freshman year in college, either 2013 or 2014. Then the prosecutor asked, did you also have a business relationship with her? And she said, yes, I hired her to be my assistant. How did that work? Well, she came with me everywhere. Did she travel with you? Yes. Did she live with you? Yes. Before July 2020, how would you describe your relationship with Kelsey Harris? We were best friends, Megan said. Describe what happened on July 12th, 2020. She said, we went to Kylie Jenner's house. She was having a party. What time did you get there? I don't remember the time. Who were you with? She was with a fella named EJ. I believe EJ is her stylist. She was with Kelsey, and it was her. EJ drove us. What were you doing at Kylie Jenner's house? She said she was in the kitchen. She was cooking food. She brought out food for everyone. She said it was actually a small group. It was a small party. And then the prosecutor asked her, "Are you nervous right now?" And she says, "I don't feel good. I can't believe I have to do this." Okay. Then she asked, "Well, how did the defendant arrive at Kylie Jenner's house? How did Tory Lanez get there? It was just you, Megan, your friend, Kelsey, and your stylist, and Kylie Jenner, and a couple other people. How did Tory Lanez end up getting there?" She said, "I told him to come." "What time?" "It was really late. When he came, most everyone was mostly gone. Everyone was mostly gone when he got there. But Kelsey was Kelsey there. Not sure where she was." We later find out, and I know I'll repeat this again in another video. She was most likely passed out from drinking. She didn't want to say that. It's kind of admirable. She doesn't want to smut her friend's name, even though they're not friends anymore. But also that kind of it might throw off a narrative. Later, we'll find out whether or not Kelsey being intoxicated at Kylie Jenner's house has an impact on this case. But she didn't say that. Megan didn't say, "Oh, well, my friend was drunk, passed out, sleep." She just said, "Not sure where she was." She said, we were all in the pool at some point. This is now after Tory got there. Tory got there. They're all in the pool. Then she said, "My hair started slipping. I was wearing a wig and I was ready to go. I told everyone I wanted to go." Quon was the driver for Tory Lanez, and Quon was the one that brought Tory Lanez to Kylie's house, but he stayed in the car and never came inside. And this is important, this point, that she said that her hair started slipping and she wanted to go. This is the main reason why she's saying she wanted to leave. And there might be some other evidence to suggest that the reason why she wanted to leave was because she got mad that Tory was in the pool with Kylie Jenner, probably being very flirtatious. That's what it seems like. That's what's been suggested so far, is that Tory was just enjoying himself. And also, he had just got there. He hadn't been there long. And we later find out that Megan had been there for like 5 hours. She had been at Kylie's for 5 hours. So then Tory said he didn't want to leave yet. "I just barely got here," Tory says. So Quon, Tory's driver, was going to just take Megan and Kelsey and take them home. But Quon said he didn't want to leave without Tory. And at some point, she says, "We all left in the car." That would be Kelsey, Tory, Megan, and then Quon. I think his name is Jaquan. I'm not really sure how to pronounce bro's name. If anyone knows who bro is, Jaquan Smith, Daquan Smith, send me a message, a DM on this proper spelling of bro's name. Then she said at some point, "We all left in the car." EJ, her stylist, the one that brought her to Kylie's house, she said had already left. Prosecutor asked Megan, what was Tory's mood in the car? "He had an attitude because he wasn't ready to leave." "Did he tell you why he didn't want to leave?" Her answer was no. "Quon was driving. I was the passenger," Megan said. "Kelsey was sitting behind me and Tory was sitting behind Quon." So let's just get that correct. Let's just get that. The position of where everyone's at in the car is going to be extremely important for the jury to determine whether or not Tory Lanez was the shooter. But at this point, when they left Kylie Jenner's house, Quon was driving. Megan was the passenger in the front seat. Kelsey was sitting behind Megan, and Tory was sitting behind Quon. So that means Tory and Kelsey was in the back seat when they left Kylie Jenner's house. At some point in the car, during you guys having an argument, and she said that everyone was arguing. Tory was arguing with Megan, and then Kelsey joined with Megan arguing against Tory. And then she said, Tory said, "You need to stop lying to your friend," referring to Kelsey. So during the middle of this argument, Tory just comes out and said, "Hey, Megan, it's time to tell your girl, Kelsey, the truth." And I'm going to take a quick little peek at the comments. What do you think Tory was talking about when he said, "Hey, Megan, it's time to tell Kelsey the truth. It's time to let Kelsey know what's really going on." And I will continue in a second. Let me check out a few chats here. Megan, the horse is a liar and a 304. Come on, Lorenzo. I definitely do have issues with any women who sleep with the amount of men that it is alleged that Megan has slept with. It is just not healthy for women to have these multiple sexual relationships. Just in 2020, it's the evidence suggests that she's had sexual partners, and and I'll get to that in a minute. She says like it's nobody's business. It shouldn't be a problem. So, but you're calling her a 304, Lorenzo. Tory was punching all down deep in that stallion. Let's see here. Are the doctors taking the stand? The doctor from Cedars-Sinai Hospital is supposed to take the stand. We don't know if that's going to happen tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. But the doctor, we were told in opening statements that the doctor will testify. Let's see what else is here. Were the comments real about a doctor saying she wasn't shot? It was just glass. You know what? I guess those are all rumors. I always tell people there are going to be so many rumors on the internet that spread over a case, over a trial, and many of these rumors are going to be untrue. So remember those rumors? Apparently there was a report that said it was glass in Megan's foot. Well, so far in this trial, it is clear bullet fragments entered her foot. How many people were in the vehicle? 4 people. 4 people were in that vehicle. Quon was in the front seat. I got my little vehicle diagram right here. Quon was in the front seat. Megan was the front passenger. Tory was behind Quon. Kelsey was behind Megan. Now, this was the seat position when they left Kylie's. The seat positions will change, but we're not at that point yet. Salute, Alex. Yo, FG's in the house. Will her taking the stand hurt her career, in your opinion, or is she exempt? I don't think her career is going to be hurt at all. She claimed that her career has been hurt, but on cross-examination, the defense broke down like, you won this award, you've done this, you've done that. Your career has actually done quite well. So, and she's a lady. You know, ladies get away with testifying, getting on the stand, and pointing people out. That's just dudes get away with it. So let alone a celebrity female, she gonna get away with it. Nobody's exempt when it comes to taking the stand. Tory snitching. How he gonna Kelsey as the shooter? Rat. Well, technically, Tory ain't saying anything. It's his defense attorney that is defending him. So you got to blame the defense attorney, and you got to blame George McDessian. George McDessian. This is George McDessian's theory. And of course, I'm sure you're going to say, well, that came from Tory. But Tory snitching. All right. She mad Tory gonna get a Lakers three-peat. All right. Tory wanted to smash Kylie. You know what? I was actually thinking that Megan got extremely upset when Tory got into that swimming pool with Kylie Jenner. Um, and seeing this brother in court, he dresses sharp, always got a nice cut. He's very small. He's a petite brother, maybe 5'4", 5'5", and he's just a small dude. He's much smaller than Megan. He's smaller than Kelsey, but he's been with all these women. He has been with all these women, and ain't no telling what he was trying to do with Kylie. Her wig was slipping. All right. All right. Let me get back to her testimony. Last thing I said was that Tory, when they were arguing in the car, Tory's arguing with Megan. Then Kelsey joins in the argument, siding with Megan against Tory. And then that's when Tory just says, "Hey, I think you need to tell your girl Kelsey the truth." And that's an interesting thing. Now, if you're a dude, how many dudes would actually do that? At this point, he must not even care anymore. But how many dudes would actually out a girl for being involved in an intimate relationship to her best friend? Of course, they were drinking, they were tipsy, they were drunk probably, and they were arguing. I think most people in their sober state of mind ain't gonna put that out there. So after Tory said, "You need to stop lying to your friend Kelsey," Megan said, "I knew Kelsey had a crush on Tory and I didn't want to hurt her." And then she testified that Kelsey started getting upset. She got angry and said, "What are you guys lying about?" Tory's getting angry too. Then Tory started calling us bitches and hoes in the car. This is what Megan said on the stand. Tory started calling both Kelsey and Megan bitches and hoes. And I don't know if that's the alcohol talking or if this is just how he really felt at that time. Then Megan said, "I wanted to get out the car." And then Jaquan pulled the car over and she got out the car. Now, this is when they got out the car the first time. This is not when the shooting happened. She got out the car the first time somewhere on Sunset near a bus stop. And then Megan testified that she realized that she was in a thong because they just got out the pool. They were still wearing their swimming attire. She was wearing a thong. She was on the street. She said, "I'm in the peak of being famous, and if someone sees me out here on Sunset at this bus stop, it's gonna look crazy." So then she decided to get back in the car. And when she got back in the car, she said Tory and Kelsey were still angry, but at this point, she said she was over it. "I didn't want to be in an argument anymore." And then Quon drove down the side street. She said she thinks she was about 5 minutes away from where she was living. And then she said the argument got so heated in the car. She told Quon to pull over. She was gonna get out the car a second time. She says she gets out the car, and then she hears Tory say, "Dance, bitch." And the prosecutor said, "Did you turn your head? What did you see?" The prosecutor asked, "You turned your head? What did you see?" And she said that Tory said, "Dance, bitch." And then she hears a gun going off. And then she says, "I saw him pointing a gun at me." "Where was he standing?" She said, "On the passenger side of the car." "You turn and he was shooting gun?" She said, first she said he was on the passenger side of the car, and then she says, "I don't remember exactly where he was." Then she says, I feel he was standing on something, because she said, looking at Tory, pointing the gun at her, it looked like he was elevated. Maybe standing on the running boards of the SUV. You know, when you get out of a SUV, some of them have a little running board where you can take a step. So she said she felt like he was standing on something and his arm was over the car window. And then the prosecutor asked, how tall is Tory? And then she said, with a little sarcasm, with a little condescending tone, she said 5'3" or 5'4". And then she said, then the prosecutor asked, did you feel anything? And she said, everyone was shocked. I crawled to the driveway. Where was Kelsey? I didn't look at Kelsey. I just saw Tory. Were you bleeding the entire time? Yes. Did you feel pain? Yes. What happened next? And then Megan said, it gets blurry. I think Kelsey and Tory bumped each other. Did you see anything else between Kelsey and Tory? No. What about Quon, the driver? No. What are the last words that are said in the car before the shooting? The prosecutor asked. Tory said that I wasn't shit. Then I told him he wasn't shit. That's why you are where you are with your career. And she came with the low blow. That's where you are with your career. Then the prosecutor asked, what happened in the driveway? She said, I was just crying. She said, then Tory came over to the driveway and started apologizing. What did Tory say to you? I don't remember. But in the car, he was apologizing. And he said, I will give you $1 million not to say anything. Why did you get back into the car after he shot you? Now, this is the prosecutor, and she's trying to get ahead of a lot of the questions that the defense attorney is going to cross-examine her on. So remember, this is the prosecutor. This is the friendly attorney questioning Megan. So why did you get back into the car after he shot you? She said, I just wanted to get to my manager. Where is Tory at in the car this time? So now the positions change. Tory is in the front seat, and now Megan is in the back seat. What was he saying in the car after he shot you? He was apologizing, asking us not to tell. He said, I'm on probation, and I'll give you $1 million. What was Kelsey's demeanor? She was shaken up. We were both crying. As soon as we get into the car, then the police came. How long after you guys got in the car did the police pull you guys over? I don't know, maybe like 1 minute. Now, keep in mind, they're on a street called Nicholas Canyon Road. So they drove south on Nicholas Canyon Road, made a left, and started to go east on Hollywood Boulevard and got pulled over on Hollywood and Formosa. They were on the 1800 block of Nicholas Canyon Road, and they got pulled over on Hollywood and Formosa. So you can actually go on a map and see the distance. She said it felt like 1 minute. And I'm going to say that's probably longer than a 1 minute drive, but it's definitely a short drive. When the police pull you guys over, what is Tory saying? She said, Tory's telling us not to say anything to the police. Did Kelsey have a gun? No. Did she handle the gun? No, Megan says. Did you know Tory had a gun that night? No. Other than the injuries on your foot, do you have any other injuries? Megan says no. Then she says they pulled him over and everyone got out the car, and everybody's seen the video of that. They all got out the car. And keep in mind, Kelsey is the last person to get out the car. That's an important point, because the defense attorney at some later point is going to suggest that because Kelsey is the last person to come out the car, that perhaps Kelsey is the one who put the gun wherever the gun was found in the car. The gun was found in the passenger seat where Tory was sitting the second time. Now, Tory was in the back seat when they were in the car the first time. So keep that in mind that Kelsey is the last person to get out the car. And you guys seen the video of all that. Then she says they take her to the hospital. The police took Megan to the hospital, but they handcuffed her to the gurney because at this point, they're treating everybody as a shooter. Did you tell the police what happened, Megan? No. Why not? Why didn't you tell the police what happened when they took everyone into custody? Well, we was at the height of the George Floyd incident. I didn't feel safe. I didn't even feel safe with the police officers. I didn't want anyone to die. I didn't want to die. Then they play a video of her in the ambulance in the Los Angeles paramedics responded, and she's in the actual van, and there's some body camera recording her, and they played that, and in the video you just see her, she's profusely crying while she's in the back of this ambulance. And the prosecutor asked her, so what is happening at this moment while you're in the ambulance crying? She said, in that moment, I realized I'm shot. Did you tell the paramedics? We know you didn't tell the police that you were shot, but did you tell the paramedics that you were shot? She said, no. Why? Why didn't you tell the paramedics that you were shot, Megan? She said, well, in my community, the Black community, we usually don't cooperate with the police. But what about when you got to the hospital? Did you say that you were shot there? No. Why not? For the same reason. I already said I stepped on glass. In this industry, referring to the music industry, it's like a big boys club. And if I'm telling on one of their friends, everyone's going to hate me. Then they go through her injury. They show photos of her foot. Her left foot has the severe injury, but she testified that she had injuries in both feet. They go through her injuries. Then she goes through surgery. She does this foot surgery under anesthesia. And then she talks about physical therapy that she had after. Then the prosecutor asked her, after the shooting, did you hear from Tory Lanez? And she said, yes, he texted me. So then they showed a printout of a text message that he sent to Megan. They put it up on the overhead projector, and it was dated July 12th, 2020, 8:59 p.m. So at this point, Tory is already bailed out of jail. And they're calling this the apology text. They showed it on the screen really fast. I didn't get to write down everything because it was at least, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 lines. So it's basically an apology text, but let me make it very clear. In this apology text, quote unquote apology text, and no disrespect to Megan or the prosecutor's theory, but there's never an apology for, he never says clearly, I apologize for shooting you. It's an apology, but an apology for what? We don't know. But of course, the prosecution is suggesting that this apology text is one part of the evidence that points to guilt. And then the prosecutor asked her, did he send you any other texts? And she said, yes. And in this other text, Tory Lanez wrote that, hey, Megan, I just saw you on your YouTube live. I pray God get you through this time. And then at this point, it is 11:58 a.m. and Judge David Hereford says it's time to take a lunch break. So they take a lunch break from noon to 1:30, and then they come back and continue the direct examination. I got the rest of the direct examination right here, but let me take a couple of minutes to look at some of the let me jump in this chat real quick. Bruh, I died laughing. Alex is funny as hell. Bitches and hoes. I rarely ever use the words bitches and hoes in my vocabulary, so that it's actually kind of weird for me to even say that. But hey, I'm telling you what was said in court. But yeah, I died laughing inside because I'm saying to myself, I'm actually saying these words. But yeah, so he did a Harlem Nights. Was that Clarissa? So he did a Harlem Nights. That's actually funny. Hey, we got Eban Films up in here from Clubhouse. We got Eban in the house. All right. So Tory is Batman now. All right. She lying, bro. So I'm gonna go through a few of these texts, and then I'll give you the rest of the direct examination. Let me see what AG got to say. AG, unmute
Hey,
yourself. AG.
hey, what's up, Alex? What's up?
I'm halfway done with Megan's direct examination. I'm just going through a few comments here, and I saw you popped in.
So Megan's a bitch and a hoe, huh?
Well, that's what Tory Lanez said. Wait, what did I say? How did I say it? It was
Kelsey and Megan are some bitches and hoes.
well, he was referring to both Megan and Kelsey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, according to her, Tori started calling us bitches and hoes in the car. So she said us.
Wow. Now let me ask you: was Megan crying when she was on the stand?
Yeah, she was crying periodically, and then she would gather herself. She was very emotional at times, both
Did you see
during
tears
direct.
though?
Come again?
Did you see tears? You yourself? Did you see tears?
I can't say that I saw tears, but I really wasn't looking. But I can hear a little bit of runny nose, maybe. But at no point did anyone get her tissue or napkins or anything like that. But she was definitely emotional.
Did you feel like it was like a little bit of an act or exaggeration from her
I
part?
can't really say because I don't know her personally. I don't think I can. I know other people will say whether someone's emotions are fake or real. I don't know, but it did feel a little genuine. But I'm not really trying to gauge whether or not it's real or not.
Right,
I'm just
right.
listening to the testimony. Um, Witnesses do this all the time, so it's not important to me. Maybe the jurors might find some importance.
Right. What's Tori's reaction through all this? Like, do you see like his expression on his face, his body language?
Well, I was sitting on the far side, so I didn't really get a good view of him today. But after it was all over, I was actually standing right next to him when he was walking out the courtroom,
Okay.
and he was smiling. He was holding that kid, and he looked like none of this was affecting him. But that's how you're supposed to act.
Wow. All right. Now you say, is he is he shorter than you expected or what?
Um, I don't think he's 5'3", but he might
5'8"?
be. No, he's definitely not 5'8".
Okay.
He, I'll give him 5'4" or 5'5",
Christ. Okay.
and
How
that's not
tall
to.
would you say you are?
I'm like 5'9",
Okay.
so and I'm not for shaming anybody's height, man, because we
Right.
can't control that.
Exactly.
I'm 5'9", and when I was playing sports, a lot of times I wish I was 6'1".
Mhm. Overall, what are you feeling on the second day? You think is it too early to say if Tori got this in the bag or or is Megan case looking good?
Well, I think on cross examination, which I haven't touched on yet. I'm not going to touch on cross examination in this video, but on cross examination, I definitely believe the defense attorney scored a lot of points with showing inconsistent statements. You lied on the first day. You lied when you spoke to the cops 4 days later. You lied when you met with the prosecutors. You lied on Gail King, um, and all of these lies at some point, some of the jurors, it only takes one or two, some of the jurors have to say, man, this girl be lying a lot. So I definitely think the defense scored some points on cross-examination.
Mm-hmm. How did Megan come off as far when she was being cross-examined? Was she being like I don't want to say angry black woman because I was looking at different people that were different people's um reaction to this whole court case that were there. So I'm not sure if they're being biased or I mean, how did she come off to you?
Well, on cross-examination, she came off at sometimes a little defiant.
Like a smart
Sometimes she
ass?
come again
Like a smart ass?
a little bit. There were some times when the defense attorney would ask a question and she would just say, "I don't know." And the defense was, "Well, how do you don't know?" You know, I just don't know. So there was a lot of questions that she didn't answer with "I don't knows" and "I don't recalls," which sometimes doesn't look good when you don't recall a whole lot of important facts. And then there was a part where where the defense attorney was reading a transcript of one of her Instagram lives where Megan actually used the N word. The defense attorney read it pronouncing the word rather than saying N word. He actually
Right.
pronounced the word in court, right? And then Megan said, "This is probably Megan's best part." Megan said, "Can you repeat that?" And she just wanted him to say the N word again in court because this attorney is I believe he's Armenian, Eastern European white guy saying the N word in
Oh, he
court.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he didn't care. He didn't care. He said it a second time, but
Okay.
but he's quoting what she said in the Instagram live, so you really can't hold it against him, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. One more question, and I'm gonna finish what she said on direct. Go ahead.
Damn, I don't have any more questions. I think that's it.
Okay.
Appreciate it, man.
All righty. There he goes. That's AGTV. All right. So I wanted to get to a couple of these comments, but all right, let me finish with so they took a lunch break. They came back at 1:30, and even though they came back at 1:30, it didn't start at 1:30. Let's see if I have the start time on that. Let's see if I got the start time on when we continued after lunch. That's important though, because there's so much time being wasted. Damn, they didn't resume until 1:45. So they resumed at 1:45, even though we were all there at 1:30. So the prosecutor continues after the lunch break, and she said, "Are you having a difficult time opening up, like expressing yourself?" And she said, "Yeah." Megan said, "I'm having a difficult time telling my story. I have to sit here with people spreading misinformation about me. I have to sit here across from Tory. I don't want to look weak. I want to come off strong. I don't want to give up the power that they've been taking away from me for the last 3 years." I really thought this was interesting because she put a lot of importance on looking strong, being dominant. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, you're a young lady. Why are you wanting to come off so strong and so dominant? But she emphasized she did not want to look weak. Prosecutor asked her then, "Have you been shot before?" And her answer was no, never. So they played the audio. They have an audio of the actual shooting, apparently from a ring camera that doesn't show the shooting, but picks up the audio. And they play the audio, and it goes a little something like this: boom, 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 pause, boom, boom. 5 shots, 3 in succession, a pause, and then 2 more. And then Megan said, "I put my head down when he started shooting. I saw Tory pointing the gun at me. Then I looked down." "Why did you look down?" "Because I was scared. I saw him holding the gun." "Did you actually see him fire the gun?" Then there was a pause, and then she gave a non-answer. Her response was, "He said, 'Dance, bitch.'" And I thought this was really interesting because the prosecutor asked her a specific question, a very specific question, and she didn't answer affirmative. And the question was, did you see him fire the gun at you? Her answer wasn't yes. Her answer was not yes. Her answer was, there was a long pause, and then she said, well, he said dance, bitch. And then the prosecutor just moved on. I think the prosecutor realized, all right, let me move on. Hope nobody picked up on that. Did you see Kelsey? And she said, I never saw Kelsey. Now, keep in mind, Kelsey has gunshot residue on her hands, just like Tory does. So that means both of them were together when the shooting took place. Either she was shooting the gun and the residue got on her and him, or he was shooting the gun and the residue got on him and her. But Megan said, I never saw Kelsey. How did you feel when getting pulled over by the police? Terrified. And then this is when she went on a rant that wasn't based on any question. She said that nobody cares about me. I felt like I don't matter. And then she started crying here, but I don't recall if there were tears coming out of her eyes. She said, no one cared about my story, and they've been giving me hell. I've been being shamed about who I'm having sex with. I don't even know why that matters. I just did a song with Beyonce, and now she has to see me getting shot. And then at this point, she's getting real loud and she's very animated on the stand. Then the prosecutor asks, what is Tory's status with his career? And then in a condescending way, she said, he's just Tory. Was your career bigger than his? And she said, yes, it was. Do you have a lot to lose? Prosecutor asks. Yes, it has been worse for me, Megan says, but he has been getting more popular. I've been turned into a villain and he's become the victim. And then she testified that 4 days later, this would have been July 16th, is when she admitted to the police that she got shot. Prosecutor asked her, why did you have a change of heart? Why did you admit that you got shot on July 16th, 2020? She said that I saw online that Tory was putting out different narratives and looked like looked like he was the victim. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to say anything. I just wish if I didn't even ever go to this party in the first place with these people. Were you open about being intimate with Tory? Prosecutor asked. She said, no. Why? She says, how could I share my body with someone who shot me? Every story, they called me a hoe. I felt like I didn't matter. My own partner was embarrassed because he hears who I'm sleeping with. I can't even be happy. I thought this was very interesting because this is the first time that we hear that she actually has a partner or a boyfriend during this whole time. And here I am thinking that this was a single woman or a woman that was just dating Tory Lanez, but apparently she had a partner. Terrence Gant just said Megan was not a bigger star than Tory at all. That's hard to say, huh? Okay. And then Megan continued to say, I feel terrible about this. I don't even want to be on earth. I wish he would have just shot and killed me. This is too much torture. So at this point, she was very emotional, very expressive, and she alluded to committing suicide at this point. And I thought that was pretty disturbing that that's how serious she felt. And I'm not going to take away if this was sincere feelings or if this was just an act. I have no idea. But she expressed thoughts of suicide. Then the prosecutor asked, what is your relationship with Kelsey? And at this point, she says, I don't have a relationship with Kelsey anymore. She was my best friend. I wouldn't do anything against her. But then I found out that she met with Tory after he shot me. Then they went and turned the story against me. I never slept with someone she was dating. I was like, why are you meeting up with this guy who just shot me? Who does that? The last time I talked to Kelsey, she was talking about what is she going to do for money now? And that was in 2020, and she hadn't spoke to her since. So these two women, if you believe Megan's testimony, they haven't spoken 2 years, and they have been best friends since either 2013 or 2014. So, and then the prosecutor asked, did Kelsey have a gun? She said no. We didn't have any clothes on. We were just in bathing suits. I had on a thong. How are we going to have a gun? Megan says. Did you see her handle a gun? No. Did Kelsey shoot you? No. Did Quon shoot you? No. Who shot you, Megan? Tory shot me. And then the prosecutor ended it. I got no further questions. And that was the direct examination. And dang, I've been on for 56 minutes. And I'm going to do a separate video. I might jump back on here in a little while, do a separate video on cross-examination. Cross-examination was a little bit more spicy. But that was all direct examination. What y'all think? What y'all think so far? What y'all think? That was the direct examination. I thought it was I like the way that the prosecutor Miss I don't want to screw up her name. Kathy Ta, T-A. I like the way prosecutor Kathy Ta ended that. What did you think about the way she ended that? She said, she asked her, did Kelsey have a gun? Did she handle a gun? Did Kelsey shoot you? No. Did Quon shoot you? That's the driver. That's Tory Lanez's driver. Did Quon shoot you? No. Who shot you? Tory Lanez. No further questions. That's how the prosecutor ended it. All right, I'll answer a few questions and then I'm gonna jump off. I'm not sure if I'm gonna jump back on and give you guys the cross-examination tonight or in the morning. Prosecutor wanted to leave that lasting effect with the jury. You know, if Tory was a no-name artist, why was Megan smashing him? She's just another lying. Y'all. But she didn't say she saw him shoot her. You are absolutely correct. She said she saw Tory pointing the gun at her. Meg's story sound like when my auntie used to grill my sneaky cousin. Megan, an immature liar. She gonna lose. Will there be a second day of cross-examination? No, all of the cross-examination was finished today. Second day of testimony Tuesday. Technically, we're already in tomorrow here on the West Coast. It's the 1 a.m. hour. But yeah, all of the Megan is done. All of Megan's testimony is done. They just barely got her in. This court goes till 4:30, and they wrapped her up around 4:20, something like that. I'll give you some more details when I do my video on the cross examination, which was very spicy, and it pretty much, the defense attorney was just outlining very methodically all her inconsistent statements, all her lies. There's no doubt that she did lie. She says she wasn't in a relationship with Tory Lanez, um, but clearly she was. What time to show up if you want to come to court? If you want to get into the courtroom, well, they're going to start at 10:30, but they start a line. Well, today was probably going to be the most crowded day. There was a long line because Megan was testifying. Not everyone got in today. This is the only day probably people weren't able to get in. But if you want to come to court, come at 10, get there 30 minutes earlier. If you're in Los Angeles or going to travel to LA, get there at 10 a.m., 15th floor, and just tell the public information person there that you want to just watch the trial. You're part of the public, and you should be able to get in because Megan is done testifying. Megan actually had her own people there as well, so they took up a bunch of seats. How long is the trial expected to last? Well, initially the public information office said 5 to 7 days. So 5 days would end Friday. I don't know. I don't know who all the witnesses are going to be. The prosecutor they haven't publicly presented their witness list, but we know that the doctor is going to come. We know that Kelsey's going to come. We know that the defense is going to put on a neighbor. There's a neighbor that says that Megan had a fight with Kelsey, that the two were fighting. And you know what? I don't recall if the prosecutor asked her if she had a fight with Kelsey on direct. I'd have to go back to my notes, double check that. She might not have went there. If the thong does not fit, you must acquit. Clarissa Dorcios, what's up? At this point, Tory should drop his own "Hit 'Em Up." No, the song should be "Who Shot Ya." I actually thought of the Biggie song "Who Shot Ya" at the moment the prosecutor was closing her direct examination of Megan when she asked her, "Did Kelsey shoot you?" No. "Did Quon shoot you?" No. "Who shot you?" Tory Lanez. No further questions. Someone's gonna late night. It's actually early morning. Of course, the prosecution didn't ask Meg that on direct. It would have instantly proved the defense's case. It did come up, though. It came up during the cross-examination of the defense. And I will go through my notes and do a video on that. In fact, I should just pop off here and will Kelsey take the stand? I believe Kelsey's going to take the stand Wednesday morning. I want to say tomorrow, but we're already in tomorrow. Meg is not a credible witness. She has changed her too many times on the record. Now, here's the question. There are people who change their stories. There are people who lie. There are people who are untrustworthy. But it's a simple question. Is she telling the truth when she says Tory Lanez shot her? You know, all of those things are facts. She has lied. She has provided inconsistent statements. She's lied to the police. She's lied to the paramedics. She lied to the doctor. She's lied to the district attorney's office. She's lied to her friend Kelsey. Is it too many lies? Are these enough lies to create enough reasonable doubt to where a rational thinking juror is going to say, I don't believe Tory Lanez shot her? That's the question. She be lying, that's a fact. But are these lies enough for a rational thinking juror to say she's lying about Tory shooting her? Give me a thumbs up if you think she's lying about Tory shooting her. And give me a thumbs down if you believe that Tory shot her. Thumbs up if the lies mean if you don't believe Tory shot. Thumbs up if you don't believe Tory shot her because of her lies. And if you don't believe that, give me a thumbs down. Now, let me tell you, I believe that a liar tells the truth some of the time. And the question is she telling the truth about Tory shooting her? So you got to remember, a rational thinking juror has got to look through all the lies, all the inconsistent statements, and still make a determination on if she's telling the truth about this one thing. I don't believe he shot her, but there's really isn't any proof. Well, it's a fact that she was shot. I don't think that's indisputable at this point. The defense is not even challenging that, because if there was any opening to argue that she wasn't even shot, the defense would have been all over that from the very beginning of opening statements. But the defense has conceded she was shot. So once the defense concedes a point, it's pretty much lets you know that that's a fact. That's a true fact. She was shot. The question is, who shot her? And it's about making a determination between Tory Lanez and Kelsey Harris. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. Could Kelsey have shot her? And when I give you the testimony on cross-examination, you'll be able to come to a conclusion, a better conclusion on that question when I do that video. In fact, I should just jump off here and go over my cross-examination notes. Was her boyfriend there? I have no idea if her boyfriend was there. She did have a small entourage of people sitting in the back row. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 people. I didn't look at them. I couldn't even tell you if I saw them again. I couldn't even tell you who they were, if they were there. I just know that she had seats for her people, and maybe he was there. I don't know. Kelsey and Corey both had GSR. No, Kelsey and Tory. Okay, Tory. Yeah, Kelsey does have GSR, gunshot residue on her hand. But again, there are other ways of getting gunshot residue on your hand other than shooting a gun. If you're next to someone that's shooting a gun, you'll get the residue. Or if you come into contact, if you shake their hand, touch them, you'll get the residue as well. Someone said they both shot her. They could have possibly both shot her. Did you hear when she got out the limo, someone screamed out, you got that purple lying on that. Meg had already one of Kelsey's boyfriends before. On cross-examination, we'll go through that. Apparently it was 2. The term that was used in court that Kelsey said was that Megan had backdoored her 2 other times regarding a boyfriend. So Tory Lanez would have been the 3rd backdoor. So you can imagine Kelsey was probably just furious. She's probably just furious. I think Kelsey did it because of the fight her and Meg had. Yo, Alonzo. Oh, are you and FG gonna cover it? Yeah, we're gonna talk a little for sure. Talk about Mob James, Ronald Pearson. You're crazy. All right, folks. I appreciate everyone tapping in. I'm going to go over my cross-examination notes. I might just jump on late night just to shoot a video and put it up there so people to watch. I know at these late hours, not too many people are going to tap in, but I appreciate everyone that's tapping in right now. And if you want to come to court, if you want to check, I think Kelsey's testimony is going to be very interesting. We have no idea what she's going to say, what she's got to offer. But yeah, come down to Criminal Courts Building, downtown Los Angeles, on Temple and Broadway. We're on the 15th floor. If you come to court, come holla at your boy. Monday is Holder's sentencing. Actually, it's not his sentencing. He's having a pre-sentencing hearing because they're still going to address the issue of whether or not the jury came to the correct verdict. That's on Monday, the 19th. So this trial hopefully won't still be going on the 19th. Maybe the jury will be, we don't know how long the jury is going to deliberate. The jury might be deliberating on the 19th. But I'll try to be in court for the pre-sentencing hearing for Eric Holder, which is on the 9th floor, same building, same courthouse, different floor. How many days is the trial? We don't know. They say 5 days to 7 days. Today was the second day of testimony. So we'll see. Kelsey was paid to take the Tory side, and he hitting. All right, people. It's late. I got some more work to do, and I got to be in court in the morning. So I appreciate everybody. And look out for my video on Megan's cross-examination. All right, I'm out.